A Potlid, fragile, yet able to rebuff even the mightiest of attacks. Today, that's all the equipment we get. No bow, sword, axe or armor, but just a single Potlid is all we have to defeat Ganon. After waking up, exiting the shrine and finally touching some grass, it's time to rescue our dear princess. She's simply a beauty. We collect some food and then fall to the stasis shrine. It's closed, but our Potlid won't be denied by mere walls. Then we skip this stone by jumping past it in our first attempt. Next is the Kraona shrine, which isn't too far away and also has some more bokoblins to steal from. At the shrine, we again have to shield chip inside and complete it as usual. Another clip later, we are inside the Magnesis trial, where we decide to spare the Guardian until it rudely shoots us. One war crime later, we almost fall, but recover with a delayed shield jump. Only the bomb shrine is left, and after underestimating a Guardian, we reach it. Then shield chip, and waste a bunch of time trying to reach the pedestal before finally making it. Inside, we save some time with another shield jump. Now all the shrines are done, and the glider is our reward. Reaching Ganon is now possible, but before that, let's activate the Sheeta Tower. Probably should have done that sooner. Anyway, we're going to cook, and to do that, we need ingredients. We cross a bridge, avoid some lizards, and awaken the next tower. Then attempt to tame a horse, which proves difficult, but we're not that easily denied. And the struggle was worth it. Well, we do abandon the horse pretty quickly, but it will be useful later, I promise. And after some walking, we reach the jungle, where we fail to climb a wall. But by using a palm as a starting point, we can barely make it up to the Pharaon Tower. It's protected by bats and a wizard, and getting rid of those bats is hard. We eventually succeed, but don't have enough stamina. Luckily, we can take a slight detour around the mountain and run up a less steep side. Then we simply glide over to the tower. Now it's finally time to reap our reward, hearty durians. Cook 5 of these and you receive plus 20 hearts food, which is insane. But we're not quite done yet, so we travel to another stable, where we first beat a shrine, then take out speed, who speeds up our journey immensely. The sea is our destination, because of these fish called Mighty Porgy. To find them, simply look for spots with seagulls. Then make your way towards them by jumping from ice block to ice block and you get plenty. And by combining the Porgy with Mighty Sisters, which are plentiful in the jungle, we can make attack up food. There's also another shrine, which I would love to do, but our time is limited, having to save Hyrule and all. Now we wait for the resources to respawn and then harvest them again. But there are 2 more things I almost forgot about. Electricity, food and fairies. Thunderblight will be difficult, but by collecting and cooking 5 zap shrooms, we at least have some protection. And fairies basically act as 1-ups. A lot of collecting and cooking later, our preparations are complete. And after sharing some of our leftovers, we finally set off. Our journey takes us to a stable near the castle, where I waste way too much time doing the shrine wrong before finally getting it. And as we ride towards the castle, the weather couldn't be any more perfect. Speed carries us almost all the way, and we walk the rest before arriving at a wall. It's raining, so we can't climb it, but maybe we can use the tree. Luckily, that wasn't our tree. At least, there's one more tree. Time for plan B. First, let's go to the archery trial. Don't worry, you don't actually need a bow or arrows to enter it, just a horse. Once you pay a fine, you ride over to this mountain and wait until the timer gets low. Then fly off to a wild horse and struggle with it as the timer ends. And that's it. The camera was slowly moving away and I was wondering how far it would go. Watching it for a while makes me think it's infinite. But when I wanted to continue, the game wouldn't load, so we had to do the glitch again. But now, at last, we have infinite jumps, and no rain can stop us. If I were Ganon and saw Link approach like this, I'd be pretty terrified. Once we reach the throne room, we fight Windblight and fail. But when we reload, we're back at the last shrine we visited. Reloading the save manually also doesn't work, so we travel all the way back, but same results. By capturing a shrine closer to the castle, we can decrease the Fly of Shame travel time, but it's not worth it. So we get rid of the glitch and challenge the blights without our superpowers. And that was the best decision of the run, because we had to reset a lot. Even with the tag up food, the fight took forever. Parrying does decent damage, but for most of the battle you're forced to throw bombs, which do close to nothing. To make things worse, I later had to find out that the attack up boost doesn't work on bombs or parrying. But we got better and better, and eventually even made it to phase 2 before dying. Then the date of a stream I promised arrived, and even though the performance of the video was pretty painful, breaking a promise would be even worse. So I streamed my suffering for the world to see. Attempt 1, here we go. and even met a nice bot offering his promotional service. As you'd expect, spirits were at an all-time high, and the Potlid kept breaking. At this point, phase 1 was pretty easy, but phase 2 Windblight has an attack where he uses his drones to play ping pong, and I just couldn't get a good angle, losing run after run. But finally, we did it. Phase 1 Waterblight is easy. Parry a spear and repeat. Just make sure not to run out of charge. I was a bit worried about phase 2, since you need 3 hits to parry his ice block. My original idea was to use one bomb to blast another into the ice block. Thus, 2 explosions and 1 bomb hit would make 3. It didn't work. Luckily, we can just run up to him and throw some bombs in his face instead. He also shoots a laser we can parry to speed up the process. Next up is Fireblight, and he's even easier. Bombs stun him, so phase 1 is free. For phase 2, he shoots a slow fireball, which is basically impossible to miss. But luckily, we can swap our Potlid, preventing it from burning to death. And after finally parrying the fireball and more bombs, he goes down. Thunderblight is a force to be reckoned with. The only way we can damage him is with bombs, but he blocks them if you don't aim below or behind him. First, I tried trapping the spot where he returns after attacking, but ended up just trying to get him into a corner and dodging early. That way, we have time to throw a bomb behind him. And after a painful hour, it's time for phase 2. We eat our prepared mushrooms, and unfortunately, the early dodge strategy no longer works since he swings multiple times. So now, we just run away and drop bombs, hoping they land behind him so he doesn't block the damage. There's also an attack where he flies up to shoot electro orbs, which takes him long enough for us to get in a bomb pit. His health was decreasing, slowly but steadily, just like our food and ferry supply, and we would soon run out if things didn't change. By running far away enough, Thunderblight will reset to a certain spot. If we plant a bomb there, we always get a guaranteed hit. We still need to dodge him, and if he gets too close he won't despawn. But the strategy was the best I could come up with. Finally, Thunderblight showed mercy and gave us a laser to parry. Unfortunately, it didn't deal damage, but only break his shield and stun him. We got another opportunity and parried again, but same result. The controller also still kept complaining, but I wasn't worried. The game would just pause once the controller disconnects. And then, the controller disconnected, but the game didn't pause. Immediately, I pulled the switch out of the dock, and we barely survived. After that close call and more bombs, Thunderblight finally fell. And only calamity stood between us, our Potlid, and peace. One mistake, all it would take, to erase hours of work. And so we parried. Again. And again. And again. Dodging whatever attacks we couldn't parry. And reached phase 2. Then parried again. And again. And again. Until... Fireball. If I miss this fireball, I'm going to be so fucking upset. We got it. We got it. I think we got it. Oh my fucking god. We got it first try. And just like that, we beat Breath of the Wild with a single Potlid. What about Beast Ganon? Throughout our journey, we and our shield formed a bond so powerful that our Potlid can now shoot light arrows. If you want to join me and the Scambot on stupid adventures, come watch live to find out if we can beat Ganon with a soup ladle.